Let's go Dolphins! What if I told you that everything we thought we knew about the Miami Dolphins was a lie? That, behind the flashy plays and technical jargon, the team is quietly disintegrating from within? I'm talking about injuries no one is being honest about, captains turning on each other, and decisions being made in the shadows that could ruin the season. There's chaos behind the scenes, and I have exclusive details that will leave you absolutely stunned. Before we dive into this mess, if you're a true Dolphins fan, click like right now, especially if you've been with this team through its pain for over 20 years. It's good to see fans of all ages, but those who bleed teal and orange, you are the heart of this franchise. If you feel that way, comment right now. Go Dolphins! My heart bleeds teal and orange. Now let's get to the point, because what's happening inside this locker room could be just the beginning of something much bigger. Mike McDaniel confirmed this week that not one, not two, but 5 players on injured reserve, including key linemen like Austin Jackson and James Daniels, will not be returning just yet. That's despite being eligible for weeks. Let that sink in. Daniels went down with a pec injury after already nursing an ankle issue, and McDaniel originally suggested he could return right around the 4-week mark. We're now heading into week 7, and still nothing. Austin Jackson? Same story. It's another delay with no real clarity, and at this point, it's starting to look like these guys may never return at all this season. The Dolphins are scrambling. Larry Borom, filling in for Jackson, has shown improvement, especially in pass protection, but let's not kid ourselves. Austin Jackson, for all his injury history, is still twice the player Borom is. It's maddening. And speaking of filling in, the carousel at right guard has been brutal. We've seen Kean Smith, Daniel Brunkel, and most recently Cole Strange, and the results have been nothing short of horrendous. Strange in particular has been an outright liability, putting up some of the worst pass-blocking grades in the entire NFL over the last couple weeks. The numbers are painful, under a 30 pass-blocking grade and under a 45 overall. That's worse than last year's disastrous rotation of Liam Eichenberg and Robert Jones. Imagine being worse than that in 2025. Somehow, we're there. Let's talk about Jonah Savi, dead last among 113 ranked guards. He's literally the worst in the NFL. Just last week against the Chargers, he gave up a critical sack on 3rd down in the 3rd quarter. It was textbook failure, beaten instantly, left on an island, and completely overwhelmed. At this point, it's impossible not to ask, how in the world is this team expected to succeed with a line that can't keep Tua upright or open lanes in the run game? But this is bigger than just injury. It's about trust. It's about availability. Austin Jackson might be a solid right tackle when healthy, but that's the problem, he's never healthy. And yet, the Dolphins gave him a 3-year extension based on one good stretch in 2023. Now, he's back to being unreliable. His deal is locked in through 2026 with a ton of guaranteed money, so cutting him doesn't even free up cap space. That's the kind of bad contract that Chris Grier keeps piling up. You can't trust Grier to find Jackson's replacement either. When has he ever drafted an elite offensive lineman? One decent pick here and there, but no one has had sustained success under his management. Look at the potential options for replacing Jackson in free agency: Braden Smith, Jonah Williams, Jermaine Illuminor, Justin Skule. None are guaranteed stars, but they're at least available, and at this point, average and durable is an upgrade in Miami. But good luck landing one of them. Demand is high, and the Dolphins can't afford to overpay again without solving the real issue in the front office. Now let's talk linebacker. Tyrell Dodson missed the game against the Chargers due to a concussion, so the Dolphins gave the green dot to Jordan Brooks and started KJ Britt alongside him. Mike McDaniel called Britt's play phenomenal. Really? Phenomenal? The same defense that gave up 29 points and another 100-yard rusher in Kamani Vidal? Let's be real here. Britt was solid, leading the team with 13 tackles, but no tackles for loss and no game-changing plays. He did his job. Phenomenal is a stretch. What's more infuriating is the continued absence of Willie Gay Jr. from the lineup. Despite rave reviews from every beat reporter throughout camp and preseason, he's been left to rot on the bench, playing just 17 snaps all year. He didn't get a single defensive snap against the Chargers, even when the defense is collapsing and the run game is a nightmare. Did he do something behind the scenes? Did McDaniel or Anthony Campanile just decide he's not worth playing? It's baffling and reeks of dysfunction. And then, there's Tua. This is where things really hit the fan. After the Chargers game, Tua openly criticized his teammates for showing up late to team-led meetings. Not only did it rub the locker room the wrong way, but Mike McDaniel himself disagreed with Tua airing that laundry in public. He flat out said that's not the place to make that kind of statement and that Tua knows that now. But the damage was done. The fallout? Awkward, silent tension. Patrick Paul, Aaron Brewer, both of them basically said the same thing when asked. That should have been kept internal. Jordan Brooks, another captain, just said no comment. That says it all. This locker room is splintering. The quarterback, the coach, the front office, all moving in different directions, and the players know it. They're just trying to hold it together long enough to finish the season without more embarrassment. Because if we're being honest, this isn't just about Tua's comments. It's about what those comments revealed. When your quarterback goes public and says that guys aren't showing up to meetings on time, it shows us everything we need to know about the locker room right now. That's a breakdown in accountability. That's a team with zero internal leadership, and it starts with the top. McDaniel can downplay it all he wants and try to smooth things over in the press, but the reality is this: a true leader doesn't have his locker room fall apart like this 6 weeks into the season. And what's worse, the captains around Tua are refusing to back him up. Patrick Paul straight up said he wouldn't speak on it. Aaron Brewer echoed the same. Jordan Brooks wanted nothing to do with it. These are the leaders on this team, the guys who are supposed to stand together and keep this thing from spiraling. Instead, they're disengaging. There's no unity here. And yet, the Dolphins still want fans to believe they're contenders? Let's not sugarcoat it. This team is falling apart at every level. From injuries to communication breakdowns to questionable coaching decisions, everything feels fractured. Even the players' body language on the field reflects the dysfunction. The blown assignments, the lack of effort in key moments, the constant penalties, the mental lapses. You don't need to be in the film room to see that something is off. You can feel it. And that's why this situation is so frustrating for fans. Because we've been sold a dream, high-powered offense, elite talent, brilliant young head coach. But behind the marketing and hype, the core of this team isn't strong. And it starts with Chris Greer. Let's say it again. He should have been gone a long time ago. This roster, particularly on the offensive line and in the linebacking core, is a direct reflection of his failures. The missed draft picks, the bad contract extensions, the inability to build depth, the refusal to adapt. It all points back to him. Now let's dig deeper into the numbers. The Dolphins currently rank dead last or second worst in nearly every run defense metric you can find: yards per game, yards per carry, EPA per rush. Kamani Vidal just ran for over 100 yards against them. And this isn't a one-off. It's become the norm. Every week, Miami's defense gets gashed, and nothing changes. No new personnel groupings. No significant schematic adjustments. No accountability. Just more of the same. And don't forget, this is a team that was built to win now. They pushed their chips in, extended contracts, added veterans, talked Super Bowl. And here we are, in week 7, with the fan base emotionally begging for the season to end. That's how broken this thing is. But here's the truly scary part: this regime might actually survive the season. As long as there are no complete implosions or public fallouts, the front office might try to spin this. They'll blame injuries. They'll talk about close games and bad luck. But you and I both know the truth. This is systemic failure. It's poor planning. It's mismanagement at every level. And while we're at it, let's revisit the mystery that is Willie Gay Jr. The guy was electric in camp. Beat reporters couldn't stop talking about how dominant he looked, rushing the passer, reading the run, making plays in coverage. He showed up in preseason games and looked like a legitimate starter. And now, he can't even get on the field. 17 snaps through 6 games. 0 in the biggest opportunity of the season with Dodson out. That's not just bad coaching. That's stubbornness. That's personal. And it's costing the team. At what point does Mike McDaniel answer for these decisions? At what point does accountability return to this franchise? When players are confused, when leaders are silent, when the locker room is fractured and the fans are watching the season burn, who steps up? Because if we keep going at this pace, this team is going to find itself not only missing the playoffs but